So I don't have all the carrots washed. I have about maybe half of the carrots washed. So I'm going to peel them, put them in the peels in this pan, and then dice them and put them in this bowl. Once I'm done with that, then I need to blanch them. After they're done blanching, I need to stick them in ice water for a few minutes to stop the cooking process. Once I do that, then I need to lay them out on a flat cookie sheet or something like that, pat them dry. Then I can put them in a vacuum seal bag and seal them up. I'm probably gonna measure it out so I know exactly as far as how many cups is in each bag. That way I can guesstimate, approximate. I'm not real good at looking at something and going, oh, that's like a cup or 2 cups or whatever. It's really not something I'm very good at it. So anyway, I thought while I do this, we could just chit chat. I have a lot on my mind, and most women do, I think. As you guys know, I work full time for a really great company in California. I work from home. Edward works for a different company. He also works from home. And so we're blessed with the ability to live the life that we desire. Is it a lot of work to work full time and then farm and parent? It is. It really is a lot. And we need to make some adjustments to our life so that we can better manage things. But all that being said, we're more than grateful for what we have. We both have great jobs. We have a beautiful family. And we're able to do a little bit here and there to make our home what we desire. We're able to raise a lot of our food, not all of it, and I don't think we're meant to raise just 100% all of our own food. There's some things I might not be able to raise very well at all and I might want, so that's why it takes a community, right? And so Maine's really good about that. They buy a lot from their local farms and stuff, and so it's nice knowing that when you do buy a lot of the food at the grocery store during season appropriate months, you're buying locally. When it's out of season, like during the winter, it's not local. Most of it isn't. Some of it is, but not most of it. So there's that. But we are blessed to have a great state that fights for our abilities to feed ourselves from our own land without being penalized for that. But I wanted to talk to you guys about parenting. I have a few parenting things coming on in my life, and most of you guys probably are parents or have been parents or want to become parents, or maybe you're children and you're watching this and you're like, I don't want to talk about parenting stuff. But nevertheless, it's on my heart, and that's what I would like to talk about today. Most of you guys know that we have 8 children in heaven. If you don't know that, that's okay. It's in our videos earlier on. Every June we celebrate all of our babies in heaven's birthday, and if you want to watch something like that, you can, or you can just not. It's up to you. It is emotional, and so I can imagine that some people might not want to watch something like that, or it could be triggering to something maybe that they've experienced. So I'll leave that up to you. But outside of the 8 children that we have in heaven, we also have 2 daughters that are living. And my youngest daughter is 16 years old. Her name is Paisley, and she is a junior in high school. And she also has autism spectrum disorder, along with some companion disorders that accompany that many times. Often those disorders are psychological and emotional in nature, or anxiety based in nature, because autism spectrum disorder is an anxiety based disorder. So anyway, Paisley, being a junior in high school with autism spectrum disorder and some OCD and ADD and ADHD components to it, we have had to navigate her educational process pretty significantly throughout the years. Majority of Paisley's life, we lived in the state of Arizona. The state of Arizona has some pretty amazing programs for special needs children. They have a program where you can, the parent has the freedom to choose an institution of her child's choice if her child is not thriving in a public school environment to the capacity in which they will succeed in life. The parent has the ability to dictate where the funds for the IEP are placed. They can use the IEP to bring a tutor in home and do homeschooling and be able to pay a tutor to help with the educational requirements of their child. Or they can place their child in a special private school that focuses primarily teaching children on that with that specific disorder. Typically autism spectrum disorder is those schools, and I think other children go there with other disabilities as well, but it gives them an environment where they're around similar children with the same needs and struggles with teachers that typically are specializing in that field. And so Paisley, the majority of her life has been in Arizona, and she has been in a private school. Here in Maine, they don't have stuff like that, and it's been voted down twice, and I just don't think that people understand what they voted down, or maybe I don't understand a more valuable reason to not vote it down. So the error could be totally on my part, but nevertheless, that being said, Paisley is a junior in high school. Next year she's going to be a senior, and then she'll be done with her high school career. And Paisley wants to be an astronaut. And Paisley is mid to high functioning autism. And when I say mid to high functioning, I'm not talking about intellectually. I'm talking about her ability to take care of herself, to reason, to communicate and stuff like that. Academically, Paisley sits maybe at a third, fourth grade level, and so all of her processes are very customized to her academic development. So you can see how there is a struggle between the requirements for an astronaut and the intellectual capacity of my darling girl. So we are going to opt out of a college process for Paisley because an IEP does not follow a college student into college. They have to be able to learn academically without an IEP. There are no special treatment for college students that are on the spectrum or have an IEP associated with a disability, from my understanding. I could be wrong, and if I am, please make sure you mention that in the comments with whatever information you have, because I would be curious. That being said, I'm a dreamer, my husband's a dreamer, we've raised a dreamer, and I've been struggling lately with the understanding that I can't give my child a false reality of what can be versus what is really truly what they want versus what is really truly possible. And I'm even stumbling in my own words in this conversation because I'm still trying to process all this, and it's hard. Being a parent can be really hard sometimes. So we've been talking with her about other avenues that she can go and work and contribute into life. And I think one of the mistakes I made in parenting with both of my girls, my other daughter, she's in her mid to late 20s. She's married. She lives in Washington State. There's a whole nother amazing stuff that's happening on that front, which we can discuss if we have time or another time. But Paisley, well, I don't feel like it's wise to put my child Paisley in a position that will cause a natural negative response for her. Meaning she doesn't deal well in high stress environments. She struggles, and when she struggles, her emotional response is often large in comparison to the actual situation that she's experiencing on hand. She doesn't process her emotions well or regulate them well, and so that hinders her ability to learn and to work through things. So one of the ways that we're trying to not squish the dreams of our little girl, I gotta cut some carrots here because I'm running out of space, is we need to be realistic about what she can do in her life, and then also pursue the thing that she wants in her life. And so I'm not saying that she'll never go to the moon. That very well could happen, and I'm not going to deter it from happening. But I need to also give her realistic expectations in life. And just because we want to be an actress or a ballet dancer or go to the moon or, do something extraordinary with our lives like that, doesn't mean that that's what's laid out for our lives. And so I'm finding myself in a predicament where I have to fan the flame of dreaming and support that dream, but also bring an element of reality to Paisley's world. And I'm struggling with that as a parent. So what we've decided is next year will be Paisley's last year probably in high school, and then we will be I'm going to continue homeschooling her here at home, and we're going to focus a lot on solar systems and stars and work on mathematics and stuff like that. And in between all of that, I'm also going to be helping her learn how to do different things on the farm. One of the things that she's told me, because she's wanted to be an astronaut for such a long time, is that she doesn't want to be a farmer. And that's okay, she doesn't have to be a farmer. But I did talk to her about running a business and learning how to run a business. She doesn't have to be a farmer if she doesn't want to, but she can take the skills that I can teach her in farming and apply it to anything that she wants to do later on in her life. It may not be when she's in her 20s or 30s. It may be something that she does in her 40s. I don't know. I will be really old by then. But I at least can not look at at the end of high school as the end all be all for whatever Paisley's capable of doing in her life. And so removing that timeline that's typical for the average student or child aging out of the school system doesn't have to apply to our children. And so there's a change in my thinking that I'm having to make. Does that make sense? I hope it does. So I'll be working with her on some homeschooling processes after she's done with high school to continue to fan the flame and the interest in our solar system. I think it's great. But then also we will be building her a perfectly produce paisley stand where she'll actually get to put eggs out there, different vegetables and flowers that she might like to grow. She'll start from seed and gather the eggs and stuff. And so I'm going to teach her the whole horticulture perspective on how to raise your own food, and then she can sell it in there and on a donation basis, and then teach her how to manage the money that she makes from there and how to reinvest in her own business and put a little bit of money in her pocket, then teach her how to actually invest that money into different places so that her money can start making money for her. Now, one of the things that my husband and I have been very particular about is, yes, she has a disability. She's had it most of her life. We've been dealing with this from the time that she was, just a few months old, when we noticed that she had a decline in her development, to now being 16 years old. And so we've had a lot of time to think about the quality of life that we would like for our child. And one of the reasons why we moved out to Maine is, one, it celebrates a whole family approach to life, which is very difficult for us to find and still be able to financially afford it, right? A lot of these states with higher populations that are more integrated into city life are very expensive to live the kind of life that we want to live. So, all that to be said, we're not sending our daughter to college. And I know that doesn't sound very responsible to some people, and people might have an opinion about that. And they could be right. I could be making a mistake. But I don't see a different decision that is on Paisley's speed, to encourage Paisley, to inspire her, to allow the growth that she needs, and the patience to do so. So let me know what you think about that in the comments, and if you have any suggestions or anything. I don't know that I will take suggestions, or do something. I'll take suggestions, but I don't know that I'll act on them. Every family is unique, every circumstance and situation is unique. But it would be really nice if there were special needs colleges for students that really had a dream, because it would be amazing to see a different type of approach to a special needs education. One of the things that I have struggled with in being a special needs mom is there is this assumption that because a child has special needs, that they're not capable of developing past a specific point. And so they're often looked down or looked over looked down on and or looked over when it comes to different situations. Now, I'm not saying that's for everybody. Please don't hear me that. I know of people with autism spectrum disorder that have like Asperger's that are amazing, and they've graduated with doctorates and they've gone on to do scientific things, and I think that that's wonderful, but that's not the average kid that is dealing with spectrum integration disorder. Well, those are two different things, right? So autism spectrum disorder and then severe integration disorder is what was her early autism diagnosis. So it's not every child that has a disorder is looked over and passed over, but I can promise you that the parents of anybody who has a child with a disorder has fought probably a similar battle that I'm fighting and have been fighting. I'm wondering how much my daughter would have been able to be an astronaut if every teacher in her life didn't look at her as a child with a disability, but looked at her learning abilities and customized them so that she could achieve great things in her life. It's not the popular thing, that's for sure. Just curious. I'm not saying it would have changed anything. I don't know. I feel like that I've been blessed in the aspect that I've had some really great people come alongside me as a mom to be a great parent to Paisley and to parent her well. And Paisley has made me a better mom because of it. However, I've had to fight also to be her advocate so that she wasn't left behind. And I think that I struggled in that process. All right, let's talk about my other daughter. My other daughter, her name is Ambrose, and she recently got married this summer. I haven't posted a wedding video out yet because honestly I haven't spent the time that I needed to edit the video. But it is in the process of being edited and built. I just haven't had the time to focus on it because it's harvest season and I have things I have to get done that are on a time limit. But that being said, my daughter Ambrose, she's really beautiful, and I hope you guys get to meet her sooner than later. Ambrose, I had, most of her life till she was about 14 years old-ish, around that age. She wanted to go live with her biological father. Edward is not her biological father. So I had a child out of wedlock when I was 18 years old, and she saved my life. So, and I can go more into my personal story at some point, but having my oldest daughter was a miracle, and it saved my life. And probably one of the best decisions that I ever made was to not have an abortion, which is what the pressure was in my life, was to have an abortion. And I said no, and did what seemed like the irresponsible thing to the world, and had a child that I couldn't care for, or did not have a clue how to care for. And it ended up being the best decision I ever made. And if you're in a situation or know somebody that's in a situation where they're making unbelievably difficult choices and they're afraid, feel free to share my story. And I think I'll, with my daughter's permission, share a more detailed story at another time, which I will put on YouTube, of course, and then let you guys know when that will happen. I just want to talk to her first. But anyhow, so she saved my life. Well, I didn't know what I was doing as a mom, and I made some mistakes with her. And though they weren't intentional mistakes, they were mistakes. And you only know what you know, and you only can do the best that you can do with what you have at the time that you're doing it, right? And I don't know of one parent that doesn't have to answer the difficult questions of their adult children when they become adults. But one thing that I've learned in parenting that I wonder if I had learned this earlier, that Paisley has taught me, is if I had as much grace and tenderness in my approach to raising Amber as I do with my approach in raising Paisley. If I had done that, how different her outlook on herself would have been as a young woman in society, raising 2 children and recently married. I think that if I had known what I know now then, I think that there is some struggles that she is dealing with now in her life that otherwise maybe would have been lessened, and or her ability to pursue through those struggles would have been less encumbersome on her. I'll probably wish I had done things differently on some aspects, but all in all, if looking back, hindsight's always 20/20, right? So looking back as a single mom for 11 years, I feel like that I did the best that I could do. At least I tried every day, even though it wasn't enough. And isn't it true in life that we're not supposed to be everything to all people? For instance, in marriage, I cannot possibly be all that my husband needs. I cannot. I cannot be the answer to his report card on how he's doing in life. He has to have that discussion between him and God. I can't be the one that delivers the constant report card on him. Otherwise, unknowingly, I could answer his question poorly. And I have. And we've done this to each other, and it's a mistake, and we're doing it less and less. It happens still, but it's less and less as we get older and we start identifying things and habits in the way that we approach things in life. It will eventually go away, hopefully. If not, it'll be something that we work on for the remainder of our days. However, because I can't be my husband's everything, I also can't be my children's everything. And we have to put some things into perspective. And I know that it's really easy to do one of two things. Devote 100% of your time to whatever your children's agenda is and what you think your child needs in order to be a well-rounded individual. And so you pour in every minute of your day into your children and their busyness, and whether it be sports or academics or something, but they're doing something productive. And these are all great things. But what's not great is that you pour so much of your time. There's this balance that's needed in parenting that I've discovered, and by watching other people parent, by my own parenting struggles, that's children, if you were to say, hey, do you want to hang out with mom and dad, play games, roast marshmallows, go camping, cut down a tree, ride a horse, or build something together. I don't know, anything that you want to do with your, and invite your kids into that. They're going to want to do that more than play soccer. They're going to want to do that more than, hide out in a room somewhere, burying themselves in a book, out of sight and out of mind. There's got to be a place and time where parents are able to set aside agendas and elevate what's most important in the lives of our children. And yes, sports is good, but it's not, it shouldn't be more than the time that you spend with your kids as a family. And I'm not saying I know what to do in all these different situations. I don't. But this is one of the reasons why we chose the life that we chose out here. And I think that it would have made a big difference in my daughter's life is if I had approached my parenting style the way I do with Paisley, with Amber. I've had to apologize many times for the mistakes I made as a parent. Anyway, I don't know. I don't take responsibility for her struggles. I do think that I could have made things a little bit easier on her, is what I'm saying. But I also don't need to take responsibility for her successes either, because she is an amazing mother and wife, and she's doing a phenomenal job. And I think that if you guys get the opportunity to meet her, which I'm hoping soon, she is talking about moving here, so I'm really excited. Anyway, I'm hoping that it'll be sooner than later. So anyway, all that to say, all my parenting rambling, this is just some of the stuff that's on my mind. What do you guys do with the stuff that's on your mind? Do you get to talk about it with people? Do you have to keep it inside? Sometimes I feel like I can't talk about what's on my mind, not because I don't have good things on my mind. It's just I don't even know where to start sometimes. So this is just some of the things that is on my mind around parenting. If I were to talk to you about everything that's on my mind, it would be somewhere in between the to-do lists on the farm, mine and my husband's health, my children, finances, Edward's father, who we care for. So I have a lot on my mind, and many of those things feel pretty heavy. Anyway, let me know what you guys do with the thoughts that are in your mind and parenting and marriage and stuff like that. Just remember, you can allow people to feel the weight of who you are as a person. And you have the ability to speak life, if you have the opportunity to speak life and truth into people. It is better to go out of your way to encourage someone than to give an opinion of how they're failing or not doing something right. The entire world is there to point out your mistakes. They do it naturally. They're really good at it. It's very rare to find a community of people that encourage you, that speak life into you, that inspire you. And I hope that today you run into a few people that you're able to encourage and inspire. That you look at your spouse and remind your spouse that they have the ability to do what it takes to do extraordinary things. And that they are amazing people. Because there's precious little of that kind of encouragement these days. So, welcome back. All right, so my water, I've already done one batch. My battery was dead, so I had to take care of this, but I wait for the water to boil, which is getting ready to boil again. And then I boil it let them in the hot water for 90 seconds, and then I put them over in an ice bath. There's some ice in here. So basically what happens is this helps with the prevention of bacteria from growing in your preserving process. It just takes 90 seconds. It's not that big of a deal. Goes into the ice bath, stops the cooking process, so it maintains its integrity of how you want your veggie. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and wait till this boils again, which is just getting ready to do. If you can see the bits of carrots moving around in there. Once it starts to boil, we'll go ahead and put more in there. How much do I put in there? This is how much of the cube stuff I have left to put in there. Just however much I want. I mean, it doesn't really matter. I just put it in there and then set the timer for 90 seconds, and then I'll transfer it back over here. So once this actually starts boiling, I'll bring it back and we'll go ahead and get it going. I like to use a special thing that I have for doing my bone broth, which these things are great to have in the kitchen. Might be easier with one hand to actually just go like this. It's just smarter. So, now I will set the timer for 90 seconds. Boom. Start. There it is. And then I do use this to strain out the hot water as much as possible. And I just let it drip. And then I go ahead and put it in the cold ice water. So this is blanching. So if you do this with broccoli, it makes broccoli turn fiercely green. It's pretty amazing. Alright. And then we're going to bring that back up to a boil. Go in the next one because you just experience that cold water. And then we will work on blanching. These ones we're going to blanch a little bit longer than 90 seconds. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and finish wrapping up this process. I'm going to wash the rest of these carrots and peel them and get them ready for blanching as well while this water is heating up. Hi, so for full carrots, I'm going to blanch for 3 minutes because they're not cubed up or anything. And it will start the cooking process just a little bit, but after 3 minutes, which I've set the timer, the 3 minutes should be plenty of time for blanching, and then they will go into the ice bath as well. Again, we'll take the carrots out. Look how beautiful they are. And we'll go ahead and put them in the ice water. A bunch of ice bathing. Now, I don't know if it's better to take the little ones out, but I think it's that big of a deal. Right. I have to get another one of these things because it's kind of flimsy. I'm not quite done washing the other carrots yet. I'm almost done. These are going to be great little addition for roasted carrots along with our suppers, just to see how we like it. Alright, so I want to take as much freezing or as much of the water off as possible, so that when I do freeze it, it's not a bunch of moisture in there. So I'm going to take out the bigger carrots first because it'll be easier for me. And I just take off as much water as possible. All right, the water's boiling. See here, I'm gonna add the rest of the carrots in. Hey, so sorry, Madeline would not come in, so I did not have time. She was being super naughty. She's still in training. She has selective hearing, so, or selective obedience. I'm not entirely sure how to approach that, but I had to take, the 3 minutes was up. I took the carrots out. They're sitting in the ice water. I'm going to go ahead and dry off the carrots that we have already on the racks. And then I'm going to get the vacuum sealer machine out and get some bags ready so that we can vacuum seal the carrots and put them in the freezer. Alright, so before I start the vacuum sealing process, I wanted to show you my machine. This is my vacuum sealer machine. I really love it. It's heavy duty enough to do what we need. It allows me to both vacuum seal moisture and dry things, so you can see extended, moist, dry, and it's beefy. It does a really good job. It has a nice storage thing in here for your bags. This is the cutter. I cannot say enough about the importance of having appropriate equipment in your kitchen when you are harvesting and preserving your own foods. So this is my vacuum sealer. I use it for meats and veggies and and dry goods and stuff like that. And so this is what we're going to be using today with the carrots. And I really think that you'll get a good idea about how this works. Alright, I have the camera angled funny for the simple reason for space on my counter. First I'm going to do bags that I think will be good for the cut carrots. I'm going to do this size here. I think I'll just put a cup or two in each one. So I think I'll go ahead and cut a few of those. Then I will seal one end and we will give it a go. So this is about how I measure, because I don't have a good eye for these kinds of things. There we go. And then, so it goes about right there. So I think I can remember that. I don't know how many cups there are, so I'll probably just do one more like that, and then I'll seal them up and we'll go ahead and measure them out. Okay, then I open it up, I put one in here, and all I'm doing is just sealing the bottom so that I can have a manual seal. There we go, manual seal. And you can see the blue light going. It'll click off when it's done. So right now it's not sucking any air, and you'll see it gives a nice, really good seal. I don't know if you can see that, but it's a double lined seal all across the bottom. Alright, so these have frozen a little bit. They are still moist. I'm hoping that they're frozen enough. I should probably measure again. I feel like I just split it between the two bags, but I want to see if they're frozen enough to be able to vacuum seal without moisture preventing it from sticking. So let's do a little bit more. Alright, so let's go ahead and give this a shot. Hopefully this works this time. Alright. I think the freezing is going to be the trick, but we'll find out. Having a moist. Yep. No moisture went up. So this freezing is the trick. And what it does is it captures the moisture and binds it so that it can't spread easily. So when this is done, I'll show you. So here it is. So no moisture went up. Nice, good seal. It's nice and will prevent freezer burn. So that's how we have to do all of the carrots. I'm gonna go ahead and freeze the other batches of carrots, get everything ziplocked into place, and then I'll wrap it up.
Perfect.